Teddy, you've had to learn a lot of offenses in your pro career. Does that make it the transition quicker when you came here in April?
Yeah, somewhat. There's some carryover from different places. Of course, the terminology and the verbiage is different, but a lot of the concepts, they carry over throughout the league. So it's been pretty smooth for me this far.
Let's go Andrew Mason, followed by Troy Rank. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, Teddy, a few weeks in, what are your thoughts on Jerry Jeudy, the kind of receiver he is, and the type of timing you've been able to build with him so far?
And Jerry, he's a true pro. You watch him, he works extremely hard. He's always in the right place at the right time. The way he runs routes, he makes all of his routes look the same, and he makes it tough for a defender. So having a guy like him on our team, man, he's a huge asset. He's also a great dancer. I'm pretty sure you guys know that. But, he's a guy, man, who hasn't disappointed, since I've been here.
Let's go Troy Rank, followed by Zach Stevens. Go ahead, Troy.
Teddy, good to see you. Because you're a veteran, you've been through some stuff similar to this. Does that prevent you from doing the scorecard stuff and grading days, or how do you deal with it when you're in a quarterback position, a derby, and it's the most high-profile position? How do you deal with it? How will you deal with that in camp?
You just keep shooting. You don't get carried away in what's going on. You just keep playing ball. When I'm out there, I understand my job is just to find completions, get the ball to my guys and not my opponents. Keep our offense on the field. So, everything else will take care of itself. It's one play at a time when you're out there. If you look too far ahead, that's when you fall. So just keep shooting. That's the mindset.
Let's go Zach Stevens, followed by George Story. Go ahead, Zach.
Teddy, from what we've been able to see this past month, you've been pushing the ball downfield quite a bit. Is that overlooked by a lot of people in your game? Is that you're not just looking short, that you look long as well?
Yeah, I think it might be overlooked. But at the same time, I'm a guy, man, who just takes what the defense gives me. And when you play this game, you're going to have your shots. You want to push the ball. And then you're going to have some plays where, it's conservative. But this offseason, man, I've just been trying to complete the football. Whether it's pushing the ball down the field, across the middle of the field, throwing a shallow cross, throwing it to the back out of the backfield. I'm just trying to complete the football because – I'm completing the ball to our guys, we have a high chance to make a big play. I'm having fun in the process, and I'm just looking forward to finishing this mini camp strong and heading to training camp.
Let's go George Stoya, followed by Eric Delala. Go ahead, George.
Hey, Teddy. A couple of weeks ago, Jerry was asked, how he would describe your throwing motion, and he said you throw a little bit of a floater. Would you agree with that, and how would you maybe describe your throwing style?
Yeah, I say it's a catchable pass. Those guys, man, I played with a bunch of guys throughout my career who, I've talked with and, got their opinions on different things from a quarterback perspective. And, all those guys love to catch the ball, of course. But, for me, I'm just playing pitch and catch. Whatever makes it easy for those guys to catch the ball and make a play after the catch, that's what I'm all for. So if it's a floater or a touch or just a catchable pass, we can label it whatever we want.
Please lower your hand if you no longer have a question. We've got time for a couple more. Let's go Eric Delala, followed by Nick Kosmider. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, Teddy. Curious last year how close you felt to the Pro Bowl form you were in 2015 and how much of last season was kind of knocking some of the rust off of not being a full-time starter in a couple of years. So I guess from where you were last year, how close do you think you are to your peak?
Honestly, last year, man, when I look back, I think for the first 8 weeks or the first 7 weeks of the season, I think I was playing some really good football. And, we had guys who were having career years. And I think once we played Tampa that second game and, I took a shot, I probably should have just shut it down for the rest of the season. But, I just love this game, man, and I never take it for granted. So right now I'm just at that point where I feel really good, man. I feel good mentally, spiritually, physically. Every day I come here, I got a smile on my face. The energy is positive here. and it's first class. So, being in that type of environment, you have no choice but to feed off that energy. And I'm feeling like you said, if you want me to say I feel like 2015, then I do. I'm just a couple years older. It takes me a little longer to get warmed up, but I feel pretty good.
Let's go final three: Nick, Arnie, and Brandon. Go ahead, Nick.
Hi, Teddy. Thanks for the time. This one's a little bit off topic, but I'm curious if you could share what you learned early in your career from playing with Adrian Peterson, a guy who is so well respected in the league, was sort of that workhorse. What did you sort of gain from that? And then I have a quick follow-up.
Honestly, that's almost where that keep shooting mentality comes from. We think of it being basketball players and quarterbacks, but when I was on the same team with Adrian, there would be games where Adrian might have 32 carries for 180 yards, or 32 carries for 200 yards. And the thing that people didn't realize was, okay, he might get 2 yards here, he might get 1 yard here, 3 yards here, then boom, 20-yard run, 1 yard here, 2 yards here. And he just kept shooting, and that type of mindset is what made him special. So, I try to apply that to my game. Hey, man, just keep shooting. If it's 6 yards here, okay, let's get 4 the next play. Okay, let's get a 20-yard completion the next play. So you just keep shooting, man, and eventually everything falls in place for you.
And then my follow-up is just, as you were going through your injury recovery, was he sort of a voice as somebody who'd gone through something pretty significant himself? Did you lean on him at all during that time? I
asked him a couple questions, but I knew that, man, my injury was different from his injury, and everyone is different. But, he recommended and referred me to some people to work with. Of course, I chose the people that I wanted to work with, but, just seeing a guy like that, whose story was similar to mine, of course, he's done so much more on the football field, but to see what he was able to do off of his injury, it was huge motivation for me.
Appreciate it.
Go ahead, Arnie.
Hey, Teddy, I got a couple of quick ones for you. First off, you mentioned that you took a shot in Tampa last year and should have shut it down. What exactly was the injury?
I had something on the inside of my knee. I can't even remember what it was, but it lingered for the rest of the season. But like I said, I just love competing. I never take the opportunity to go out there to compete for granted.
Okay, and now it's completely better. There's no residual effects on that.
Yeah, I'm completely healed.
Okay, and then secondly, I wanted to ask you. I know you did your homework and you've been here, several weeks now. But what is your impression of the receiving corps as a whole here? Is it a little bit, more dynamic or better than you anticipated, or what do you think, up and down that position?
They're better dancers for one, with Jerry leading the way. But no, every group, man, is unique, and they all, they all have unique relationships with each other, and they all have unique relationships with their quarterbacks and the rest of the team. And this group, man, it's a bunch of young guys who, have made some plays in this league, who had some success in this league, and then there's some guys who are eager to make a name for themselves in this league. But the one thing that I notice about those guys is every day they come to work and they're hungry. And when you have that type of mindset, man, special things in store for you. Guys come here, if you look at the OTAs, it wasn't mandatory. Guys were here for participation. And you watch guys just compete with each other and push each other. I'm pretty sure once Sundays in the fall come around, those guys are making a lot of plays for us. And, it started this offseason.
Thank you.
Finish this off, Brandon.
Teddy, I know you obviously, got to Denver late in the offseason, so to speak. How do you plan on spending the 5 weeks in between? You going to be back in South Florida somewhere else? Or are you going to be around here? Because it sounds like Drew and a lot of his guys will be around here to throw to. So what's your plan?
Yeah, I'll come up with the plan. I usually go back to South Florida and fly a couple of the guys wherever I am, and we'll work that way. Who doesn't love South Florida? The beaches and all that stuff. But I'll see, once these next 2 days go by, and Drew and I, we talk. He's actually in Florida sometimes, some days also. So he and I will get together for sure this off season. Well, within these 5 weeks and throw, and it'll be fun, man. Whenever you can get around the guys, and it's not always football, it creates and forms that bond and that camaraderie. So I'm looking forward to these 5 weeks working and getting the guys together and having some fun.